Speciàl, the podcast where Belgium tech meets Belgium fries. I'm Sebastian, your host. We're here to talk with startup founders about their early days, how they turned ideas into products and tackled the challenges of building and selling the first version of their app, the MVP, the minimum viable product. And because my best ideas come while waiting in the frituur, we'll be doing this over fries and a favorite snack. Today we're at the Frituur de Arena in Antwerpen and we're about to dive into some golden fries and golden ideas. Our guest today is Arne Schoonvliet, head of engineering at Intigriti. Intigriti is a global crowdsourced security provider trusted by the world's largest organizations. They have bug bounty programs and so much more, but we'll talk later about that in this podcast. So as Belgians, we really feel at home in the frituur. And so Arne, before we will talk about the great idea of Intigriti, I have a question for you. If you had to explain the concept of a frituur to somebody that doesn't know the concept of a frituur, how would you do that?
I think we Belgians are famous about our Belgian fries, and we're also very proud of it. So in every kind of small village to big cities, we have like what we call a frituur. This is where we like, if our cravings are in towards Belgian fries, we can go towards this place and get an order in and enjoy it here in the place, or with family at home. Rather cheap as well, if you find the right frituur in your village.
All right. So you have your go-to frituur in your hometown?
Of course. We actually have 3, but we all have our favorites as well. So we kind of need to split them a little bit. Mine is called frituur Wezel. But for example, my brother has another, famous frituur that he enjoys. So we kind of have to switch a little bit.
Okay. You have to choose a bit.
Yeah. You need keep church in the middle.
Okay. Before we dive in, what is your go-to frituur order?
Yeah. So, it's a bit difficult to explain in English. So, what I usually take is, een kleine friet. It's like a small packet of Belgian fries with stoofvleessaus. I don't know how to explain in English. Together with tartare sauce and a Mexicano. And look at that. This is exactly what I want, which is awesome.
Maybe we can show it.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually frituur on a plate.
Yes.
Voila.
So the Mexicano is a little bit more spicy. Just because I prefer it. But you went for a Cito, I can see.
Yeah.
Which is also a very good choice, in my opinion.
I'm sticking to just one item per episode. Otherwise, this podcast will,
we see you grow over time.
Yeah. Indeed. All right. Let's go over to, the concept or the idea of Intigriti. I said in the intro, we talk with startup founders. You are not one of the founders, but you're one of the first employees of Intigriti. Maybe just keep it simple for the beginning. Can you explain in a simple way what Intigriti is doing?
Yeah. So what we try to do with Intigriti is bring the world of ethical hackers from all around the world together with companies which want to try to improve the security of the products they have. These are usually digital products, but we also have customers that have more like assets, which can be, for example, cars. And why would they want to join us with Intigriti is we have this unique way where we use the crowd, all the ethicals from all over around the world, which have quite a lot of creative ideas on how to break in towards the system. And we bring this world together. And what's in it for the hackers? Because they stay ethical and just report towards one of our customers, like, okay, there's like this security vulnerability here. I can get in your system, and they show how to do it. They will get paid back a certain amount of money, as we call a bounty in the big bounty concept. And that we hope that kind of keeps them ethical in this way, but the customer knows which kind of security vulnerability they have, which they need to have, which they need to patch. And the cool thing is like, we make the world more safe, but also the people that are hacking, can earn some money as well and maybe make a living out of it as well, which is really cool. So.
All right. I think that's a pretty clear explanation. So you have this bunch of ethical hackers that can earn money by trying to hack the website, for example, of Coca-Cola or, I don't know, Intel. I think that's also one of the customers. and then they can just report it via the Intigriti platform that you built. It's a web platform you have online. All right, cool. We can talk a bit more about the tech part a bit later, because that's really your focus and your expertise. But maybe we can go back to the beginning. Do you know where the idea from Intigriti came, how it all started out?
Yeah, I have a rough idea what it is. As you just said, I'm not the founder. So, the founder is Stijn Jans. Before Intigriti, he had like a pentest company. And the pentest, like, very basic is, you have a set of security people within your organization. There's another organization or company that was like, okay, I need a pentest done. You put 2 people on there for 2 weeks. They go over a checklist. If they find vulnerabilities, good. If they don't find anything, okay, that's it. And they go away for another 2 weeks. Problem is, security is not static. It's something very dynamic. It's something that continuously changes because your system behind the scene changes as well. Your web application changes, your mobile application changes, whatever, everything changes. So it felt like, okay, we are missing something, a key component here. And that's why he came up with the idea to introduce bug bounty within Europe, actually, because it's kind of unique within Europe. Back in 2016, it didn't exist yet. There were like 2 big, companies within the US that did do it. But the legislation didn't allow it before that. And then Belgium came up with legislation that allowed to do it, that, was allowed for hackers to break into systems as long as they keep it ethical and report it towards customers. And we were like, okay, I think we can, close this gap and bring bug bounty concepts towards Europe as well overseas.
Right. So it was due to legislation that it couldn't happen. The idea was maybe already there for Stan and the founders, or
that I don't know for sure. But the fact that with pen testing that it's so static, only 2 weeks and maybe only once a year, that was really bothering him, because between now and a year later, so much has changed, and you want this continuous testing done. And that's what bug bounty can actually deliver by having like 100,000 people looking at your website, seeing if they can see security vulnerabilities and actually report them. And yeah, we need to bring the world together, so we need a web application to do so. So that's how he also started by, just hiring, 2 engineers. Tell them, okay, I need a proof of concept in 2 weeks' time. There's BugCon, one of the bigger security events here in Belgium. And I need to be able to have like a program. I need to be able to send in a submission. We need a login. You have 2 weeks to make it happen. And these guys actually delivered on it in 2 weeks, like the first proof of concept.
You were part of these 2 guys?
Unfortunately not. Unfortunately not. My best friend, Bert Carlier, he was. Yeah. And he is also still at Intigriti, which is really cool.
All right. So in the beginning, the core team, it was just Stan, and then he hired some external help, or?
So I went to Stan. His pentest company was from the Kronos Group here in Belgium. So he, through contacts in the Kronos Group, he got some like seed money as well, I think. And then the opportunity to have like 2 engineers from one of the smaller companies in there, which included Brecht, in this case, and another engineer. I think he was called Christophe Spaas or something. Where Brecht was mainly focused on the back end. Christophe Spaas was mainly focused on the front end. And then the story went like, it's like July 2016 they started, and then start building out a platform. And then somewhere during summertime 2017, like Brecht decides, I want to try something else, because he was a consultant, and he said, okay, I'm gonna leave Intigriti, and Stan was without any engineers back then. So it was really like a bit more of a rough time, because he had already sold the product towards certain Belgian companies. Platform could keep running. But he had no way to innovate anymore and all that. So he had to like search for someone else, to like step in the shoes of Brecht, and make it happen. So we hired like another Christophe, back then in like November 2017. And around February 2018, Brecht was like, okay, I made a wrong decision by leaving Intigriti, because I'm now working somewhere else, which I don't really enjoy that much. I much prefer working for Intigriti. And the concept was much cooler. And that's where I step in as well. kind of strongholded Stijn Jans a little bit by saying, okay, Brecht will come back, but Brecht will also bring Arne, me, as one of the conditions, and we want to build a platform from scratch again.
Okay.
And we kind of sold it to do it in 3 months. It took a year and a half to
Okay.
do so. But he agreed. And that's where my moment actually started at Intigriti.
So there was a platform. You said, or Brecht said, I want to come back. I'm bringing Arne. We're going to build it from scratch for 3 months. Took 1 year and a half. So for 1 year and a half, there were no updates on the current platform. Little bit.
Small changes, small updates, but nothing like groundbreaking at all. How it usually goes is that during Series A, this is where you do this step and make sure that the foundation you set down as a platform, as your product, is like the right foundation to keep scaling. We kind of did it pre-Series A. But yeah, I'm not sure why Stan said yes, because we kind of sold it to do it in 3 months, I guess. But in the end, it all played out. So
Yeah. Because today, how many people are there at Intigriti?
around 100 people, 50-50, give or take, 50 in UK, 50 in Belgium.
All right. So it was a right.
In the end, it was a right decision, but
yeah.
I think he kind of lost some hairs,
Or they turned gray.
or gray and lost hairs, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the beginning days, it was you and Brecht who were the first engineers, and who was else in the team? You had Stijn Jans as a CEO and founder. Were there any other founders or team members?
So no other founders. It was only, I think Stan had like a board, but they were not visible. So Stan was the only visible person within Intigriti 4 specifically. And it was me and Brecht. We had Christophe, who was hired in November 2017 while Brecht was gone. And we had like one person who was called Simon, who did more like the infrastructure side, making sure that it get hosted, that it get run and all that. So while we were developing, he made sure that it kept running. And those were the very early days. And then over time, of course, the team needs to grow a little bit. I think we have another friend of ours who also still works at Intigriti. He needed to do an internship for his school. We said like, okay, let's go in, come towards Intigriti. You can do your internship here. It was more on the infrastructure side as well of things. Funny side story here is that he then dropped out of school while he was doing his internship. And at some point, he was driving towards Intigriti itself, and the car broke down. And Stijn Jans was very opportunistic and said, okay, Jordi, I will just give you this contract if you sign, and then we make sure that you have a car so you can drive back home as well. And he signed that day, which is a cool side story.
Yeah. All right.
So young people, and we were 21, 22 years old. And then we had Stan, as the founder.
And next to the engineering team, there were other people in the company, or?
No, those were the people within the company. And the other kind of help we needed was external.
Okay.
For example, for design and UI and UX, we use it like an external partner. It's called Monkey Shot, I think, who helped us with the designs. And that's how we kind of operated in the beginning.
Okay. So in the beginning, it was just you, Brecht, a small engineering team, and Stan doing everything else.
Yeah, that's correct. Problem here was that Stan was doing everything else, meaning he was making sure that we know how to build, doing the sales, making sure that we were happy, and all that. But it's kind of rough as a founder to balance it all. So, and we were a very, very young team. So, which meant that we needed some guidance as well. So, we had like this project what we called, Get Rid of Stan, where we then hired, Koen Hans, CEO of Intigriti right now as well. He's like, back then, I think he was 40 or something. He came from the banking world, and he was then responsible for product engineering. So Stan could focus more on the sales side of things, to sell the product itself.
All right. And, okay. Yeah. It's really cool to hear that you had such a young team. How did Intigriti or Stan manage to attract all these people to come and work for the company? Because also, I understood that a lot of people are still there for 5, 6, 7 years, which isn't something you can, it's not super obvious that if,
I get it. Good question. I think for me personally, what keeps me driving for Intigriti and working for Intigriti is, back then, if you are 21, 22 years old and this cool opportunity pops up to join like a very startup organization within Belgium, it's like a unique opportunity. And that's the reason why, first of all, I joined, because I had no responsibilities at home or something. I didn't have to pay off a home or something. The concept is really cool. We are working with ethical hackers from all around the world. We are making the world a better place by making it more secure, but also helping people from low wage worlds, where they earn the same amount of money. If you come from India or from Belgium, it doesn't matter. We pay them the same amount. So the concept is really cool. And it's of course the job of a founder to make sure that we are also driven and invested in this journey as well. And then having the chance to be in an organization that goes towards Series A and a Series B and really starts growing from 5 people to 20 people, 40, 50, 100 right now. It's not a given. You kind of need to grab the chances that come up. And I'm very proud to be still part of Intigriti in this case.
I think definitely in Belgium, recently there are maybe some more success stories coming in, but it's still indeed not a lot of opportunities there also to be a developer there and eventually evolve into a role as head of engineering. So that also must be very exciting, because these CEO and founders, they say always by the start, like, this is our vision, this is where we want to go, but they still have to make it happen, of course.
Of course. Another big part of it is, now I'm thinking about it, is there's no need to go towards another organization because it changed so quickly. Intigriti from 1 year ago isn't the same Intigriti of now. Intigriti from 7 years ago is completely different. So in the beginning, it was for just shooting around and you make some fun, and then things get more serious, and then it's fun again, and it changes so quickly. There's no need to look for something else. That's my personal opinion in this case. And then combined with my best friend is also within the organization, it all adds up.
It's just a story of friendship, actually.
That's how you could describe it in the intro.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah, nice. I want to focus a bit more on the product, because you said there was this first version built. That was actually the MVP, and then you decided to rebuild it. What were the decisions there?
So because Brecht had to build it in such a rush, the MVP in the beginning, code was shit. You have to imagine as well a person just comes right out of school, gets the task to build a platform that brings in hackers and needs to connect with companies, and you need to log in and read reporting. And so he just builds and builds whatever is needed. And then he left, and then he came back and said like, okay, together with me, like, if we need to keep working on this base, we don't want to do that. First of all, it's not the right base. So that's why we kind of convinced them, okay, let's rebuild it from scratch.
Did you also wanted to go in with another technology, or?
So, tech stack was the same-ish. We just went from the .NET, the backend was always .NET. The frontend was AngularJS, which was the old frontend technology. We switched towards Angular, and that's what we also still keep using right now. We moved away from a monolithic application towards a microservice application, which, if you look back, maybe it was the wrong choice as well. So, over time you learn so much, and we thought we knew it back then. We knew it all, but we didn't know anything. But also, with rebuilding an whole platform from scratch, there was some new opportunity that popped up as well. So like we wanted to visit and we wanted this and we wanted to do things differently, and we want to rename certain concepts and all that. But it all adds complexity. You are thinking that you need something, but maybe it wasn't true at all. We didn't test it. We just thought it was the right thing to do. the rebuild was the right thing to do because the base of how we build Intigriti right now is still exactly the same base. But over time, things changed a little bit because we made the wrong choice like 7 years ago, by going a certain direction. But the core tech stack is still the same.
Okay.
And we believe it's the right tech stack as well.
Okay. So you're still on .NET and Angular.
Yep. And
microservices
indeed. We are applying them now in the correct way as well. And not just data silos, but like more process-based microservices, which makes more sense. And we really try to keep up to date with the latest standards as well. So we are on .NET 9, on Angular 19, latest versions, just making sure that we keep on track. Cause you don't want to, cause you hear sometimes, on other organizations, we are on Angular 16 and we can't upgrade and, we just keep going, on top of it. It's also easier for hiring if you can say, we have the latest tech stack and not some old thing laying around.
Sure. Was it hard to convince, back in the day, Stan to say like, you just paid this amount of money for a version to get started. We're going to build it again.
I don't think so. I didn't do the negotiations, Brecht did. But it went rather smooth and rather quickly. I think Stan just needed engineers. Yeah. And he knew what he could get out of Brecht. He was very uncertain what's happening with me. In the end, it turned out because I'm still here. But Brecht wasn't going to join if I wasn't going to join. So he needed the engineers. So I think that made the decision quite kind of easy. And we still had the MVP version was running. It was working. We would maintain it. We would add some small functionalities in it while we were building on the side a whole new platform from scratch again. So he could still sell the product, still sell, the concept of bug bounty towards customers. So it's not like we were in standstill, but innovation wise, there was a standstill there. But the concept was so new as well within Belgium and EU specifically that was, I think, enough, that allowed us to not 3 months of work, but 1.5 years, amount of work.
And, I think it's also quite, I'm not going to call it a risk, but, a baller move of Stan to hire younger engineers and not look at maybe I need to have some kind of CTO person in there. Maybe also one of the reasons you're still here is that you got that trust. But did you ever feel like at one point, like, we have no clue what we're doing. We have to build this and we're so unexperienced or?
Actually, no. I'm not sure why that was. Just because we had this same ballsy way of thinking as Stan Jans did. Like, okay, we can own this. We can build a platform because Brecht has proven it before that he can do it. And we've learned something in 1.5 years that we can now apply a better platform, build a better platform. And we're like young. And we dared to do some things. So we kind of convinced in ourselves and trusted ourselves that we could deliver a platform that would work. In the end, turned out because we brought it live somewhere in the 5th of November 2019 or the 6th of November 2019. We did the switch. We just went down for 3 hours and came back up with the new platform.
Okay.
And it kind of worked.
Okay, nice. Really nice to hear that. You said a couple of times before there was already some competition in the US. You were one of the first movers in Europe. Were the US competitors not active in Europe then because of all this rules and laws and stuff? Or
I think the market was big enough in the US, so they didn't see the need to come towards EU, which meant there was a whole open market there for us to play around it. I know there was another company which was Yes We Hack in the EU, which is based in France. Also started around the same time as we did. But in the beginning, as you start as a small company, you start first within your country, in Belgium in this case. And yes, we started in France. The bigger players, they were not concerned at all. But I'm pretty sure they are now concerned as well, because we try to go towards the US market as well and stealing from them as well. And especially the bigger customers like a Coca-Cola, for example, is one of the customers that comes from Hack One in this case towards Intigriti. But in the beginning, you were so focused within Belgium. The competition wasn't there in Belgium. we had some tries in the Netherlands and in Germany. So I think we kind of had like a free space. We just had to sell the concept because...
Was that hard?
I think that was really hard because what we're basically saying is, yes, we have a platform. We have like 20, 30,000 ethical hackers from all around the world. We don't know them. We don't know who they are, but they can hack. And you're going to allow them to hack your website or your web application. And you're actually going to pay them as well when they find something. But people don't want to be hacked. They were very scared of, well, like hackers, that's not good. We don't want to be involved at all. So we had to like rename them it a little bit as well. Not say hackers, but researchers, because they research a way to hack a system.
Yeah.
But now we can feel that the market is like, understands that the need of being secure, and cybersecurity is a big thing all around the world. And you need hackers to make sure that you are secure in some way, because they can tell you how to hack it within a system. So we are changing that wording as well back towards hackers from researchers. But I don't think it was a very easy thing for Stan to sell towards the first customers of Intigriti to say, okay, let's bring in 10,000, 20,000 ethical hackers and let them hack your system.
Yeah. Where did you find all these hackers? Because you have to find our customers, but you also have to find these hackers.
Because Stan had a pen test company before, which meant that he had people within that company that were actually hackers, because they were just people that would do the pen test at companies. They had the skills there. And I think that was a starting point. They're like, okay, these are the people with know-how. Do you know some friends? And tell them about Intigriti, and let's try to build a small community there as well. And then we had Intigriti as well, who was also listed in Aalst by Stijn Janslis, who was already like more like a bigger person within the cybersecurity scene here within Belgium, and kind of piggybacked on that. And he understood the community of HackerOne, of the US competitors. And like, I think that was the starting point on how to build a community. And Inti is also still within Intigriti, and he is responsible anything community related. Let them grow, educate them. Okay, what are the new hacks? Large language models are the big things now. How do we make sure that we can offer that towards the customers as well? Make sure that the hackerspace knows it as well. I think that's how we made sure that there was also a community behind it. From a product point of view, we try to gamify everything, of course. It's not only about earning money, but it's also about earning what we call reputation points, and there's leaderboards, and you want to be the best, of course, because if you're good on the platform, the chances that you can get access towards new customers joining Intigriti earlier gives you the opportunity to earn more money, and all that is needed to make sure that we have this community and keep them happy as well, of course.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think it must be quite a challenge to go after the Coca-Colas of the world, and then having a good group of researchers or ethical hackers, because you can have a lot of them, but if they don't really perform, do you see that happening as well? You're really depending on performance of people you don't really know, that customers or companies say like, hey, we don't really see a lot happening, or how do you experience and manage that?
Well, good question. The first question you need to ask is, if you don't get any reports in, does that mean that you're secure, or does that mean that they don't hack you?
Yeah.
And we try to sell that it means that you're super secure. And I also believe so. If you don't get any reports in, that means that you are doing a pretty good job, because we believe, that these hackers are actively trying to break into your systems, because for them, there's like this huge incentive to earn money as well. And it's not small bucks. It's not about 50 euros. It's like by 5,000 euros, 7,000 euros. If they find a decent hack, for some people, that's life changing.
Yeah.
We have people on the platform that make a living out of it. They have like a name Manstalk, like a small company, and that's the only job they do, trying to hack other companies and earn money that way. But it's hard. As you say, we need to convince our customers that the people that we do not control, they are not employees of Intigriti, will try to hack you.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because of the concept, and that we are not the only one within the market, but still unique, that we can show that it can work. And usually the biggest wins we usually have is that, okay, there's a new customer joining, they come on the platform, and time to value is like 1 day, and they have like a huge security vulnerability coming in. Yeah. And we know them, that you have them, and we're good to go.
All right. Do you sometimes, I don't know if you want to talk about this, but if you have some new important customers, you sometimes nudge some of your researchers like, hey, we have this new customer, go check it out.
Yeah. I don't want to say we tailor towards what the customer needs, but we do know that within the community, there are some kind of experts in some kind of fields. For example, game hacking. It's more like a niche. We have people within the community that know how to game hack.
Yeah.
So we don't need to go, and search within the community for someone that doesn't know, to couple them with a game company. So we try to figure out, okay, who are good within game hacking, and try to link them together, of course, because it's a win-win for both. But we need to make sure that we also be an open platform and not discriminate towards any way or form. Because we like everyone. Everyone has a certain skill set, can then deliver value towards security posture of our customers. So we prefer not to do it. We prefer to be very, should I say it? Fair towards everyone. Yeah. That they have the same opportunity to earn the same amount of money or search for the same amount of hacks. But sometimes it just makes sense to say, okay, if you're a gaming company, let's link you towards the gaming community within Intigriti that knows how to hack games.
For sure. Makes sense.
And overall, we create educative content where we say, okay, this is what game hacking is, and we share that towards the whole community, over X and all the social media platforms. So everyone has access towards the same content to learn, but it's up to them to learn, of course.
Okay. All right. Interesting. I want to zoom in a bit more on your personal journey within Intigriti, because I think it's very interesting that we in this episode would have a founder on the table, one of the first employees. You were also quite young when you started there. How could you maybe describe a bit the journey that you had as a young person starting in a startup? Maybe this can help us some advice for some other people out there. What are the things you have to consider? What are the cool things, but what are also maybe the less cool things or the more difficult parts?
Oof. Quite a lot of questions. So,
I'm really good at asking a lot of questions in one.
I can feel that. So I think I just best start with the journey, and then see where we can end up, if I can give advice and what I like and what I didn't like. So I started, 19th February 2018, which is today, 7 years, and I'm here at Intigriti.
All right.
I had a call from Stanias as well this morning at like 7 o'clock, like saying congrats. So these small things are like, for me personally, are huge.
Wow.
That like, he knows it and he calls you as well and said, okay, I know it as well. So he cares about his people as well. As you said, I was very young. I was 22 years old. And just because the opportunity popped up to join an organization, Intigriti, which were 3 people or 4 people, for some people it's kind of risky. If you have like 2 kids and a house to pay off and everything, that's kind of challenging to say yes against that. But for me, it's like, okay, I just live at home. I don't have any responsibilities. Let's do it. I can work with my best friend. We can work with the latest technologies. We can actually kind of decide whatever we want as long as we build the right product. But how we do it, that's our responsibility. And as long as you're up to the task to do so, I think that's really cool that you can do it. So these were the triggers for me to do it. Like, to have the freedom. I had the confidence I could do it as well, even though I had never proved it towards myself or towards anyone that could do it, but even it was there. Endpoints. We started building. Took a year and a half to build a platform, but was there, brought it live. It worked. And then we needed to start iterate.
But it's also quite some responsibility you get.
Yeah.
Did you feel some pressure there or?
Somehow I didn't. I'll put it towards that you're very young. you don't really think about what could go wrong. If it goes wrong, what will happen with me? It's more about, if it goes wrong, I will just find another job somewhere else and we'll take it from there.
Yeah.
So there were no concerns, not that I can remember. And Stans was also really good to motivate us and say, okay, let's go. And we need to keep going fast and hard and do the right thing. And we believed in ourselves that we could do so. And again, if you can do it with your best friend as well, that's also a win. I can't give that as advice, because it means that you have to follow
your best friend.
Yeah, because it also means that you have to see him every single day.
That's true.
I see him more than my girlfriend. So, okay, it works out. So that's good. But if you prefer your friendship, maybe not always take that risk, to join your friend everywhere or let your friend join whatever organization you're going. Because it can put pressure on the friendship as well.
Yeah.
It's not like we had that problem, but as advice then maybe, be careful. So joined as actually a full stack engineer, so .NET backend, Angular frontend, brought the V2 platform. We grew from, I think back then was 4 people to around 12 people. We had to bring some sales. We had to bring some more like HR people as well. So in the end, we had 12 people. And I think there was then some tipping point as well for Stan to say, okay, we either stay local within Belgium because we can be cash positive, or we decide let's go for Series A, and like get funding in and let's be a grow company where we decide, okay, we need to accelerate whatever, companies that we bring in. We need to hire more people to make it happen, create a sales department, bump up the engineering department, and start being a real company. So I think the funding, came in one day before COVID hit and everything got closed down. So back then, I think that's somewhere around March 2020, we got funding in, and the next day we all had to lock down and stay at home.
Oh, yeah.
So we had to readjust completely on, okay, how are we going to tackle this? But it played out. So,
you could keep on doing the company, right? Or did you have any effects of that, of COVID? Business wise?
Yeah, good question. To be fair, because you got locked down and isolated. That meant there was also less contact with the people within the office, or no contact at all. Which meant you were kind of isolated as well. What the work you were doing, you were just given a task and you did it. So that was my job back then, and I felt I was still doing the right thing. And I had contacts with the people, the other engineers, making sure that we are all aligned and all that. Mm-hmm. But to be fair, there was a huge blind spot on, okay, what's happening sales side, what's happening, customer success side, what's happening there. And yeah, somehow it panned out. I'm not sure how Stan did it, but, he brought in the right people and made sure there was a team growing. And we went from 14 people towards the end of COVID, towards the end of the Series A. I think it was 40 in total.
Okay, yeah.
And then I made the step from like full stack engineer towards software architect as well. Where, then Series B also came in, where we then had another growth, opportunity where we brought in around 21 million. And as you know, with COVID, there was this big boom of, need for tech. Everything got more expensive. The market was hot, as I would like to say. So we got this rather huge Series B funding coming in, which meant we could grow for another, I think it's now 3 or 4 years, which is cool.
All right. So your role also evolved from being engineer to architect. Now you're head of engineering. Are you doing a lot of coding yourself still, or is it more an HR job you have now?
So, as head of engineering, I'm managing the team of engineers who are 20 people, who are, software engineers that actually develop. I have QA engineers that actually make sure that there's the quality of the platform, that we tested things before we go to production, and a couple of SRE engineers, so site reliability engineers that make sure that whatever we are running on our infrastructure keeps running, keeps updated, and all that. So the switch from software architect and actually coding towards head of engineering, where I need to make sure that people know how to operate and enable them to build the right software and build it the right way and all that. I think it was 1 year or 2 years ago. I don't know by heart. I think it was 1 year ago, 1.5 years ago. It was a hard decision to make because I had to let go of coding. I couldn't write code anymore. I was fairly limited to do so. In the end, I think I still made the right decision, but I have to write code every now and then at home just to make sure that I don't lose my touch. And if then conversation starts within the team, that I at least know what they are talking about.
It's not like you have to do pull requests anymore or...
Sometimes I do, but that's not, just for fun, just to stay connected to what's happening. But now it's more about, I work with 2 teams and there's a tech lead within those teams. Okay, what does the tech lead need for that team to operate? They are very junior within that team. How do we make sure that they write the right code and it's tested and keep going? But also look at the future. Okay, we are now 2 teams. What if I want the 3rd team? What needs to happen? Okay, I need to hire. Okay, well, let's organize hiring, but I don't want to create like a full brand new team. So we need to take people out of that team and reorganize. Also talking more about process. We are building software. We need to believe that what's production. We do that in a certain way. Can we do it better? Can we do it faster? Can we go slower? If we go faster, does the quality go down? Okay, how much does it go down? Is it acceptable or not? But also cross teams. And there's needs from legal, there's needs from product, there's needs from everywhere, from actual customers that like, I want my button to be red and not blue. And very bad example, but you get the gist. And then, as I said, there is this opportunity then to join the leadership within Intigriti. This is where we give input on how we operate the business as a whole.
You have to report to management. Maybe at one point you want to do another refactoring and you have to sell that again.
Yeah, I have to sell it again. Exactly. They will never say yes. I will never be able to sell let's build a V3 and we scratch everything we have and we're going to do it in 3 months. That's never going to happen. But it's more also about, if we are reaching targets, why do we reach the targets or we are not reaching sales targets and what can we as an engineering department do to help them? So as head of the opportunity is here to get a taste of a little bit of everything, of legal, of customer success, of everything within what happens within an organization. And that's for me the reason why I say yes, to let go of coding, but be able to operate within a business and understand, how does a business operate and how does a business grow and fail along the way and what decisions do we need to make? So that was the reason why I said yes to the head of engineering role.
Some doors open and you get to see how things are working in management and leadership team. Probably also one of the reasons why you're today 7 years still there.
Exactly, because you join as full stack engineer, become software architect, 2 different roles, and now I'm head of engineering, and we don't know what the future will bring, but we'll take it from here. Yeah,
nice. I have 2 more questions, and then I think we should wrap it up so you can maybe still enjoy some of the fries. First question. If you could go back, it's kind of a cliche question, 7 years ago to Arne and tell him hey, this is Arne from the future. Please don't do this or make this mistake. What is a mistake that you made that you would like to avoid or not make again?
I think there were 2. And actually made this mistake once again, couple of 2 years ago, but I will try to not do it again. Is build something along the side, on the side track, and then one big bang release it. What do I mean by that? It's like we had the V1 and the V2. So we had the original MVP platform. We had to support it, and we built a brand new platform on the side. No, you don't want to do that because it means that there's no continuous value being delivered, and we are just blocked for 1.5 years. So I would tell myself back then, 7 years back, you can build cool things, but don't try to build it from scratch. Try to make the current system better. and try to do it as in fast pace possible by continuously delivering value to us, the product or whatever you're building. And why I told you that I made mistakes once again, is, we went from Google Cloud towards AWS at some point, and we did make exactly the same mistake. We didn't switch one component from Google Cloud to AWS. We did one big bang of the whole platform. Okay, we're now on Google Cloud. We go down 2 hours. We come back up and everything is on AWS. But it took us also 1.5 years to get there. And I don't want to do that anymore because it's kind of stressy on the day itself when you need to do the switch because you think you have it all right, but who knows? You are kind of isolating people to do one certain job and they are not involved in daily routines and also not bringing any value continuously. And, if you're very young, sometimes you need to accept that things take time. I can still remember one moment together with Stan Jans in the early beginnings when we just delivered a new platform. And I wanted more involvement. I want to understand, okay, how does a business operate and why are we doing this? And I wanted to share my opinion and get my opinion in there and try to steer the business as well. But I was 23 years old. And, as a CEO, as a founder, you cannot let like a 23-year-old come in and say, okay, this is how you operate a business.
Yeah.
And now 7 years later, I'm almost 30 now. I actually am doing this. And sometimes you just need to allow some time to get towards the point and get towards the maturity to get these opportunities and do the right thing then and not 7 years back.
Yeah. Take your time. Wait for your turn. Really nice. Good advice. It's time for my final question.
Yes.
At PandaPanda, we like to do things differently. That's also why we're recording here in the frituur, and not in some boring studio. And we call this being beastly in a positive way. What was your beastly moment in the Intigriti journey in the past year? A time where you did something different, something beastly, and that made you, or that helped you succeed in a way?
I think I'm gonna switch it around. I had something else in mind, but we just had a good conversation here that I want to bring in. We are a security company, so security is everything within Intigriti. Yeah. We have a game which we call the sushi game, which I like a lot. And how does it work? And why is it called the sushi game? In essence, we use Slack for all async communication within Intigriti. And if you are behind your desk and you go, for example, to the toilet, but you leave your laptop unlocked, that means that's an attack vector. And there is company secrets on the laptop that for me personally, I have access to production databases. If you're on my laptop, you can see everything and you can kill the platform. You can do everything. So to incentivize people to actually lock their laptop when they leave it, we have this game, what we call the sushi game, where you go towards a certain Slack channel, which is called sushi. And if you can fill in sushi within that Slack channel, that means you need to pay the sushi treat towards the rest of the organization, put on the sushi suit as well for the rest of the day. And why is it sushi? In the early days, our office was sitting next to us, a sushi shop. Yeah. And in the beginning, we were only 4 people. And if you got sushi, then it didn't cost that much money to just buy sushi for 4 people. But kind of stayed around also after COVID. And I think this is a really cool way, a beastly way, as I would like to describe it, to incentivize people to lock their laptop, keep security in mind. Because how often do we walk around in an airport and see people with their laptop unlocked? Company secrets being available right at your fingertips. It doesn't make sense. Just lock your laptop when you leave for the toilet.
So on a daily basis, you have people being sushied or?
Not daily, but usually new joiners. We sushi them 2 or 3 times in the beginning and then they learn quickly.
Do you know if some people were working at home, like by habit, they also lock their computer when they go away?
Yeah. I think it's so ingrained within the culture as well. At some point, it's just a reflex. Yeah. And it's the right reflex to have.
How many times have you been sushied?
Over 7 years, I think it was 5 times or 6 times. So it's pretty okay.
Pretty good ratio.
But we have still people that are also around 5, 6 years within Intigriti that were never sushied. which is
great example,
an achievement. Yeah, exactly.
All right. Thank you very much, Arne. Thank you for coming. That's it for today, for Business Speciàl. Thank you for being here, sharing your story. Also a shout out to Frituur Arena and Yusuf for giving us this wonderful fries. A big thanks to Vince, our producer, for making everything look and sound pretty good. We'll see how it works with all the background noise. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
All right. My pleasure.